To all the patriots that are watching this channel, this is one of those videos that can be somewhat, I don't want to call it painful, unexpected. Didn't think that it would ever get to this, but it has. And this time, though, this level, this MAGA party, we have to be willing to push the line and hold rhinos accountable. Now, one thing the Democrats are good at, if you're not down with the team, they will make sure that you won't hurt the team. And Republicans, what they'll do is that we'll say, okay, well, we all agree on this, and then somebody flips or is doing something that's not right. And rather than everybody calling this person out and make sure that if they're not going to be right and they don't want to be aligned, they at least can't hurt. We got to be better at doing that, and I'm starting it right now. So we're going to talk about Marjorie Taylor Greene, because this is somebody, and I'm sure some people are probably going to see this and say, what? Brian, you're crazy. I'm going to show you proof and let you hear things out of her mouth 9 times out of 10 you have not heard, because it's definitely not on the mainstream media, and there's not many people online that has ever seen this footage. And then you're going to hear what President Trump has to say, and wait till you hear what the real deep reason is, because there's a reason and it's laid out. And when you hear it, matter of fact, I'll tell you who lays it out. You're going to hear it from AOC. AOC shares what the real deep hateful reason, or should I say spiteful reason, that Marjorie Taylor Greene has flipped on Trump. And when you hear it, you're going to say, wow, you're going to hear it. So let's get into it. So this right here, we got the article, Trump issues harshest rebuke yet of MTG. I read a little bit of it. President Donald Trump issued a harsh rebuke of Republican Georgia Rep. Marjorie Taylor Greene following her recent remarks criticizing the White House. CNN White House correspondent Caitlin Collins asked Trump about Greene's social media post expressing frustration over his White House meeting with Syrian President Al-Hamed al-Shara, a former al-Qaeda leader, Monday. The reporter also pressed the president over her comments criticizing the administration on cost of living and other domestic policy issues. Cost of living. I wonder where she could possibly have gotten that attack from. Could it be Democrats? Could it be what she sees Zoran, what she saw him do to win? And immediately after winning, the people in New York are like, oh my God, when he asked them for donations to fund it. Or Brandon Johnson in Chicago, who ran on this and got this socialist utopia idea. While Chicago is $1.4 billion in debt going into 2026. So this is what's going on. But let me get off into this. Now, just in case you forgot, because we're going to see the post too. Matter of fact, let me show you the post that they're talking about that she did on. Well, let me show you who she was. Because right now, when you hear who she is, you're going to forget that this was her at one point in time. Let's do this. Check.
There we go. There we go. And then I got to do one more thing. I always do this. I just love this guy so much.
That was MTG, right? This right here, this was also MTG. And I'm showing you this for a reason, because when you hear what she says, when you actually hear this, you won't be able to believe it. You won't be able to dispute what I'm saying, that there's beef. Check this out.
Hey everyone, we're headed to the Trump rally in Atlanta. See you there. Hey everyone.
She is so excited going to the Trump rally in Atlanta. This is in 2024. The first one was 2020. This one is 2024. Now, here's the post. One of the posts that she made during the shutdown. While your government is shut down, federal law enforcement, TSA, air traffic control, and others are not getting paid. Your government agencies refuse to do your casework, and both chambers are engaged in a political pissing contest. The never-ending foreign lobby from Ukraine is set up in the Starbucks in the Longworth building and paraded in the Rayburn building with the Ukrainian flag, of course, demanding your money and our weapons. Now, the fact that she said that both parties are having a political pissing contest, think about what that does. Think about what that does to Republicans who are independents, who leaned right, who lean more right. Now she's giving them a reason to say, you know what, it is both when it's not both. The Republicans have been saying they never wanted it shut down. They had a clean CR, which was created by Chuck Schumer. It was the exact same CR that they had. And she knows that. She's in the House. She voted on it before it even got to the Senate. But to accuse both sides makes her seem like this centrist. Like she's not for any of it. Now, why is she carving this lane? Now, check out this video, though, because this you probably never expected, might not have heard, but you definitely won't forget it. Check this out.
I certainly support the president, but I'm not, what would be the right way to say it? I'm not some sort of blind slave to the president, and I don't think anyone should be. I serve in Congress. We are a separate branch of the government, and I'm not elected by the president. I'm not elected by anyone that works in the White House. I'm elected by my district. That's who I work for, and I got elected without the president's endorsement, and you know, I think that has served me really well. So I get to be independent as a Republican, and I think what helps him the most is when he has people that are willing to be honest with him and not just tell him what they think he wants to hear.
I voted for Daddy because I thought he was going to bring coal jobs back to our Wi-Fi router.
Ain't no one going to take my guns or my ability to Google is the earth flat at 3 a.m.
Popular. Did you see that thing said popular? You saw that said Popular Liberal Productions? Isn't that interesting? Liberals are taking, this is what I'm talking about. And she knows what she's doing. The fact that she even used the word slave, being a slave to the president, as if everybody else that's in alignment with his agenda is somehow a slave and he's forcing them to do it, not because it's a good idea, but because they're being pressured. She knows that that's what she's doing. She was even on The View recently, and the only reason I'm not using clips from that is because of copyright, and YouTube makes it extremely difficult to get any clips from that show. You got to put bot red coloration. You have to do a lot of things to do workarounds that can sometimes make it go through, but I didn't want to do that to you. Now, so you heard that. You heard that. So we saw the post that she did, and she just said she's not a slave. She wasn't endorsed by him, and she feels like that served her well. If you're enjoying this video, do me a solid, hit that thumbs up, because I will never ask you for a cash app, a super chat, or a donation. You hitting that like button is more than enough. And if you are subscribed to the channel, subscribe. And whether you're subscribed now or subscribed already, make sure that you hit the notification bell and you select all, because YouTube has issues getting notifications out. But when you select all, YouTube will make sure that you get notified when I upload new videos. And then, so think about that. Now, check this out right here, because you're about to hear from President Trump on what he feels about it.
Meeting with the Syrian president earlier today, Marjorie Taylor Greene, who is a big ally of yours, said that she would rather see you focused on nonstop domestic policy meetings over the White House instead of nonstop foreign policy meetings. What's your response to her saying that, and also saying that grocery prices are up and not down, as you've said?
Yeah, so I don't know what happened to Marjorie. She's a nice woman, but I don't know what happened. She's lost her way, I think. But I have to view the presidency as a worldwide situation, not locally. I mean, we could have a world that's on fire where wars come to our shores very easily if you had a bad president. We had a horrible president, and we ended up with Russia, Ukraine, and we ended up with other disasters too. Don't forget, I put out 8 wars, 9 to come. I think I'll get the other one taken care of, but I put out 8 wars. And look at the damage that Russia, Ukraine has done to us as a country. I mean, we spent $350 billion. We're not spending any money anymore. Now they pay us through NATO. You know, I got NATO to go from 2% to 5%. Well, that's very important. When you're president, you really sort of have to watch over the world, because you're going to be dragged into it. Otherwise, you're going to be dragged into a world war. I think if I weren't president, first of all, that war would have never happened if I was president. And if I weren't president, that war could have led to World War III. It won't. It's not going to anymore. But when I first got in, I said, wow, this situation could lead to World War III. And I got NATO together. I got everybody together. But with all of that, I passed a great, big, beautiful bill, which is the biggest tax cuts in the history of our country. So when somebody like Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's now catering to the other side, I don't know what, I guess she's, got some kind of an act going, but I'm surprised at her. But when somebody like Marjorie goes over and starts making statements like that, it shows she doesn't know. I don't devote a lot of my time. Let me give you.
Now, you heard that? You see, he knows what she's doing. She's doing the Nikki Haley thing. She's doing the Liz Cheney thing, because she wants to be a celebrity. She's upset because she's not as popular and as big as she thought she would be, or important as she thought she would be in the Trump administration. But it's deeper than that. Check out this reasoning. And as I promised you, it's going to come unexpectedly from AOC. She's going to spill the tea about what's going on between President Trump and Marjorie Taylor Greene. Check this clip out. As much as I despise having a player, this time she's giving up some goods that's actually beneficial to the Republican Party. So check this out.
Here's some tea for you. MTG, people are like, oh my God, she's saying all these things. Like, what's gotten into her lately? Oh, like she's bucking against Trump. She's bucking against the administration. Marjorie Taylor Greene wanted to run for Senate in Georgia. She wanted to run for Senate earlier this year in the state of Georgia. She wanted to be the Republican nominee for Senate. So she was gearing up for that statewide race, and Trump told her no. Trump said no. And the White House and Trump land shut down Marjorie Taylor Greene's personal ambitions to run for Senate. And she has been on a revenge tour ever since.
Real quick, something extremely important I want to point out to you. As we go into January the 1st, open enrollment for insurance, health insurance, is happening right now. And for a lot of seniors, some that are just getting onto Medicare, many that are on Medicare, they're terrified. They don't know what's going on. You got Obamacare getting ready to expire, seeing with the tax credits. But at the end of the day, you do have a solution. My partnership with Chapter has been extremely helpful to seniors just like yourself, if that's what you're looking for. They have skilled and unbiased agents that in less than a 20-minute phone call that's absolutely free, they can help you understand if the Medicare plan you got is the best one available on the market. Because it would suck to find out you've been paying into something and your prescriptions aren't covered and your doctor is no longer in network. It's just a short phone call. That's all it takes. So you can either visit the website, the askchapter.org/realpolitics, or call the number on the screen. Either which way, make sure you're protected with the best Medicare plan available. Contact Chapter. Wow. See? So while she's acting like she's doing this just to help the people, is nothing more than for her selfish reasons. I just had said it that now I hadn't watched the clip of AOC. This is literally, and I put that on my grandchildren. This is the first time I watched that clip just now, all the way through in its entirety. And so, you know, the fact that, so when I said earlier, like she wanted to be a celebrity, it's obvious. Anybody that flips on Republicans and President Trump's agenda, that's especially somebody as devout as she was, I'm not talking about years ago. We're talking about within the last few months. You know, it's something more deep rooted. And I knew I heard rumblings that she might run for Senate. I just thought she decided against it because she was so valuable in the House. So now she's going to try to do the Nikki Haley thing. She thinks what she's going to do is watch this now. She's going to cozy up the Democrats to leverage their media because they're still the lamestream legacy media. She's going to get on there where she's going to go against Trump. She's not going to go against the Democrats, but she won't agree with them either. She won't do the Liz Cheney thing, but she'll use their platform and to do their bidding and blast Trump. And they love it. And then that way, let's just say she doesn't get reelected. She'll easily have a career in lamestream media, television, network television. I'm telling you, that's the route all of these rhinos go. It was another one. Oh my goodness, his name slips my mind. He just flipped from Republican to Democrat and was on MSNBC the other day talking about how he would hug them if he was there because they're so spot on and they agree. Bro, then you weren't really a Republican if literally overnight you just agreed with the left-wing radicals. I don't care what Trump does. Trump could do something where I could dislike him tomorrow, but that don't mean I'm all of a sudden gonna be cool with transgenders and men in women's bathrooms. If that's the situation, you were actually faking to get elected in the first place as a Republican because you knew it was too many radicals over there. So you faked it. You got elected, but at heart, you're a Nikki Haley. You're a Mitt Romney. So, but check out this clip here of Markwayne Mullin, senator from Oklahoma, because he's going to lay into Marjorie Taylor Greene. And so again, it's like I'm telling y'all, this is how we have to be vigilant. I know you may have liked MTG as a person. She's probably an awesome lady, but this is politics and she's playing it at the highest level. And rather than let her say, well, if I can't run it, I'll wreck it. Nope. Full steam ahead, push the gas. Check out this clip though of Markwayne Mullin, Senator Mullin.
He has said that he doesn't want to talk about affordability because things are in fact better than they feel.
Right.
But some in your party are bucking that narrative. Here's what Marjorie Taylor Greene said.
I go to the grocery store myself. Grocery prices remain high. Energy prices are high. My electricity bills are higher here in Washington, D.C. at my apartment, and they're also higher at my house in Rome, Georgia, higher than they were a year ago. So affordability is a problem.
The New York Post editorial board is also pointing to another cause of these stickier prices. We know inflation's coming down, but prices haven't all followed, at least not as fast as people would like to see. They write, what Trump shouldn't do is double down on his obsession with tariffs by introducing across-the-board tariffs. Trump has increased the cost of almost everything. He knows this. That's why when Walmart said it was going to raise prices in the spring, Trump insisted they should eat the tariffs. What do Republicans do with this? Because we've seen how Democrats in the last election insisted that things were better than they felt like they were. That didn't work out so well. And the president has said he needs his tariff authority, but you're not seeing the prices in stores respond well. So what is the solution?
Well, I don't know if I agree with that. Marjorie Taylor Greene, I think she's great, but I don't know what she's talking about. Walmart just came out and said that grocery prices are down over 20% this time last year. They said Thanksgiving, and that was the CEO of Walmart. Amazon said that the trinkets, the things you were buying last year for Christmas, are down. We have inflation that was at a high of 9.1%, average of 5% underneath Biden. Today it's hovering around 2.5%. Energy prices are down, the lowest they've been since President Trump was last in office. And we know energy is the backbone of inflation. And you can't make a product, you can't deliver a product without factoring the energy costs into it. So prices are down. What is up is protein, which is a lot of people, protein meaning pork, chicken, and beef. The president made a huge step at that the other day. If you saw the Truth Social post, he said he's going to look at the meat packers because the meat packing industry is consolidated, and 3 of the top 4 meat packers are foreign-owned. 2 of them out of Brazil, 1 of them in China. That's a national security issue. Plus, the difference between what we sell, I'm a rancher myself, what we sell cattle for, what we call in the hoof or feed cattle, and what the retail is, there's such a huge gap. It's the biggest gap we see in any industry, from a product being made to the product of retail. That's where the president's focus is. But if you look at milk, you look at bread, you look at eggs, which a lot of people use as kind of a measuring point, all those prices are down. And energy costs, like I said, I'll repeat myself, it's down too. We can tell at the pump.
Well, his example with Walmart generated some discussion because there was a community note on X that pointed to, yes, the price is lower this year than last year, but there were different items in that basket, fewer items in that basket, more, the store brand products rather than the name brand products. Well, but I hear your point on the meat packers because I believe that there was just a settlement for class action. Yeah, very recently about, the price gouging. That's a real thing.
For about $56 billion. Right. It was huge. But I'm talking, the president of Walmart told me, or not the president, the CEO of Walmart told me personally that the prices across the board are down. He was actually interviewed, I believe, on MSNBC and said the exact same thing. So we are moving. President Trump's economy is working. He had a lot to clean up when he came into office. It's remarkable to see what President Trump and those that he's surrounded himself with has been able to do with this economy in a very short period of time. I mean, he hasn't even been in office a full 12 months. And the economy and the market is responding to his leadership.
Right. Okay. And inflation certainly is.
And they know that, y'all, because they're going to switch over and they start talking about other things. But they know that. That's why the Democrats are going so hard to try to plant this in people's minds that, things aren't down. Yes, they are. They know that things are down. We all know that. And certain things that has nothing to do with the president. These are private businesses that are deciding to price up things and blame it on Trump. Y'all know that. That's what they're doing. So I just wanted to bring you that. And we have to stand firm. Listen, I am a respecter of Marjorie Taylor Greene, the woman, the mother, the wife, the daughter, the sister, the aunt, all of that. But the politician, I'm against 1,000%. And so everything that she says that's negative against President Trump, I'm going to fact check it and I'm going to bring it right back out to the net so you can be aware of it and not be swayed by the BS propaganda that she's doing on the behalf of the Democrat Party. She knows what she's doing. And the fact that AOC gave us the goods is the evidence that I needed. Didn't expect it, but glad that I got it. So if you've hung out with me and watched up to this point, I want to say thank you so much from the top and bottom of my heart. I really do appreciate you. If you haven't already, hit that like button, leave a comment. Tell me what you think. And if you aren't subscribed to the channel, subscribe. Most importantly, I want you to stay safe and you be great. I'm Brian Maxwell saying I look forward to seeing you at the top. Over and out, y'all.